Hey, welcome back to another
Hey.
fantastic edition of the His and Her Money Show. I'm Talent.
And I'm Ty, and we're from hisandhermoney.com, where we teach you how to have better money,
Become a better couple,
and live a better life.
Yo, we are
Hey,
excited
y'all.
about today's episode.
Oh my gosh.
We heard you all
excited.
loud and clear. People said, I want to know how to write an ebook.
Yep.
I've got all of these ideas. I've got all of this knowledge that I want to get out. I want to generate some additional income, but I don't know how.
And it looks complicated.
Yeah.
I think, unless you have someone to kind of show you the ropes. So we're super excited about this particular episode.
Yeah. We got our peoples with us,
Our
man.
friend, our family. Oh
We
my
got
gosh.
Sophia Ruffin
Yes.
coming on the show because she know this stuff.
She knows this stuff.
She done did this. She's about this life, and she's teaching other people how to do the exact same thing. So, she's going to drop knowledge. She's always dropping knowledge. She's always giving out game. And so we knew she would be a great fit for you guys, your earbuds and your eyeballs to take in. Go get some pen and paper and get ready to take some notes.
Now, we are currently live right now, our Power Couples University, our Power Players. Hey, y'all, you all get to actually take part in this completely live. So make sure you take a listen, leave your questions, and we'll make sure Sophia will get to your questions.
All right. Without further ado, let's get Sophia Ruffin on so we can hear all of her great advice. Hey, Sophia, welcome to the His and Her Money Show.
What's up? It is such an honor to be on. I'm excited. I'm geeked.
We're super excited. When you said yes, we were like, yes. I can't believe that all these years we haven't had you on our show, though.
Yeah. That's
y'all are amazing. Well, I'm glad to be on right now.
Yeah. So we're just happy you're here right now. Yep.
Oh, Sophia, we know you. A lot of people know you, but there may be one person listening, watching right now who's being introduced to you for the very first time. So can you say hello to everybody tuned in and let them know what you're all about?
What's up, everybody? I'm so glad to be on and to be a part of this. I like many people who don't know me, I'm known as the comeback kid. I'm just not letting that go because I feel like that's the motto of my life, and that's what keeps me going and keep me moving. Like adversity and the ability to bounce back and make a comeback. Is I've seen the Lord do that in my life in so many areas. Of just moving in my life in ministry and business and just overall. So I'm the comeback kid.
Nice.
I love it.
I'm cool.
You are the comeback kid. Now, you're going all around helping people in various different areas of your life. So I'm sure you had all these ideas about how you can help people because you were called to serve and help people.
Right.
And one of the ways that you help them is you write books. Now, before we get into all the great things that you've done, some people are not, or at least they don't think like they're naturally this book writer, this author. Were you always in the direction of a writer? Was this something that was once intimidating for you? Or was this just something that was a natural thing? Like, you know what? I'm going to write this book. I'm going to knock it out.
You know what? I've never imagined me writing or even being called an author. Especially I hated school. I didn't do well in school. I wasn't a great writer. And, I just never imagined this moment. And I think that when I got to a point in my life where, especially spiritually, a lot of people always tell me, you got a story, you have a book in you, you have something that somebody else need, and you have something to say. And so I believe prophecy, I believe those words, but I just didn't know how. What do you do? Where do you go? How much is it going to cost you? You have all those thoughts. I had all those thoughts that I think many people have. But the one thing when I finally just was you know what? I do have something to say. I do have a story. I do have some information and some wisdom that I believe will help somebody else. And I'm the expert of this information because it's my life and it's my story. And I think I can tell it. And so I just wrote it, and I just did what I could do, and I didn't focus on like, is someone gonna publish it, how much it's gonna cost. I didn't even get into the logistics of all of that. I just did my part, and I sat down and I just began to write. And in writing, I wrote my truth, I wrote my story, and I discovered, wow, like there's a writer here, you know, and there's something special that I had. And that is how I actually stepped into actually loving and enjoying the art of writing.
That is awesome. You said something that I caught, and I'm sure others have caught as well too. You wrote your story. So is that something that, or is that somewhere that you actually recommend that people start with first? Is their own personal story when writing?
Yeah, or whatever they are, an expert of some type of information, or you know, something that they feel like will be helpful to somebody else. Like even in writing my story, it's so funny because when I first completed, like I think it was like probably close to 50,000 words. The Lord told me, he said, that's not a book, that's actually a journal. And I was so devastated because I wrote all of this out and I poured all of this out. But what I wrote in the first version of those 50,000 words was, I got off my chest things that I wanted to share, my story, my heart, things I experienced. But then when I sat back and I allowed the Lord to teach me how to write and how to share my story that would help somebody else, I started writing from a place of healing, a place of wanting to help somebody else. And so whenever you begin to write, that's one of the things I would recommend. If you writing your story, write from a place of healing, a place where you're going to be a breath of fresh air to somebody else, you know, and not from a place of unforgiveness and bitterness. Or if you still going through it, don't try to write a story about it, but you just got to write from a place of being totally free, totally healed, and that you have some insight and, you know, wisdom that you can share with somebody else. So that's how I see that.
That's good.
Now, there's this transition moment, though, in between you sitting down at the computer and you being told, you know what, you got a book in you. And there was, you know, some back and forth in your mind, like, who am I? Who's going to listen to me? How do I do this? I don't even know. Yeah. I didn't even get good grades in school when it comes to writing. Who, me? So take us back to the hallway. You know, one door opens and one door closes, another door opens, but there's a hallway in between those two doors that you got to navigate through. So take us back to that hallway where you were trying to figure out, am I really called to do this? Can I really do this? How am I going to do this? How did you get through that phase? Some people are stuck there right now.
Yeah, and that's a real place. You know, I remember I was actually working a job. I was working my 9 to 5. I hated this job. But I was like, man, I got to get out of this situation. I just have to. So also when I wrote from a place of desperation. I wrote from a place of, this is going to have to be a part of getting me out of poverty. Like I wrote this, my scenario have to change. I can't stay like this. So that was some motivation there. That was like, I was motivated to get it done. And so what I did, and I think my situation with writing is very unique because I think you have to just get it done. And so I wrote my first book, the first manuscript, I wrote it in 10 days. And I remember sacrificing it. People think, okay, you want to write a book, you just write it and, you know, it's just going to suddenly just appear. No, there's some sacrifice. I remember in those 10 days, it was days that I didn't have time to sit down and have a dinner. I had to eat on the go. It was me sitting on the couch until, I'm talking about, I felt like carpal tunnel. But I wrote my way through the pain. I kept on writing. It was times like, I'm like, I quit. I can't do it. Nobody's going to buy it. I was dealing with the torment of nobody's going to buy it. It don't make sense. And so all of those, but I kept writing. And I found that the key to finishing a book, the key to finishing, you know, getting that manuscript done is you got to write your way through the adversity. You got to write your way through the pain. And then another motivating factor was I saw my book in the hands of the audience that I felt needed my story and what I had to say. So I use that as fuel and motivation. Like, okay, I'm gonna just keep writing. So I had to put my phone down. I had to stop posting at that point on Facebook because every word mattered. And so if I was putting out posts on Facebook that was paragraph, like paragraph form, I'm like, no, I can use this. This can go in the book. And so I had to stop a lot of things. I couldn't go shopping. I couldn't go hanging out during those 10 days. I had to grind it out. And even over the time as I continued to write books, whenever I get in my writing mode, I zone out, cut the phone off. I make sacrifices. I tell people right now, I'm in a season of writing. I can't be bothered, so you have to really prioritize that this is something that I want to do and what I want to complete. And so I had those motivating factors going on. And even when people will call, I'm like, no, mute or do not disturb. I stayed focused. And so that's what caused me to really get it done. And when you start seeing, those word counts, you're like, man, I'm in the zone. And you really start getting inspired and motivated. You keep on writing. And then also it was certain strategies I did. I wasn't erasing stuff and saying, this doesn't make sense, I'm going to erase it. I said to myself, maybe it doesn't make sense right now, but I can use it later. And so I just kept pouring out into the book until event. And then also another key thing, I just focused on being the writer. A lot of times in the journey, when you first start and you're trying to be the author, the editor, the graphic designer, you want to do it all. And so you just write, even when your everything look like it is incomplete sentences, grammatical errors. No, you just keep writing. And later on, we can clean up the mess. But when I focused on getting it done, I was able to get it done.
That was so good. You gave a lot of helpful tips right there. First, you saw yourself in a certain situation that you wanted to get out of. You want to get out of poverty. You want to get out of the current job that you hated so much. And so this was also inspiration. But then you also said you didn't erase things. I love that because my personality, type A personality.
You will delete some stuff.
Deleting stuff. I'm like, no, that don't make sense. Let me get rid of it. But you say, just dump it all out. Don't worry about erasing stuff right now. Just get it all out of your head on paper.
Yes. And another thing that I had bad was I tried to write in chronological order. I tried to write my life or whatever I'm writing about. I tried to be chronological, and that's not always how we think. That's not how we flow. And so what I began to do was maybe it's a certain, if I'm thinking about a certain part of my life that was important or something that happened, I'll start typing maybe chapter 10. And as I'm typing chapter 10, I worry about categorizing it and structuring it later on. I don't try to, do it all at once. So, it's important to just write where your heart is, write where your wisdom is, write where that revelation is to get it out. And sometimes, too, if I was in the grocery store or I have to make a run, and I do that now, I'll speak into the recorder and I'll record myself, save it, and later, add it to the manuscript. Or if I think of something in a restaurant, I'll write it down on the napkin and add it in later. So I'm always, as a writer or a person that really desires to complete their book, you have to be willing to grab every word counts. So you are just making sure that you take advantage of those writing moments and you do those. And those are some very helpful strategies to get your book complete.
Yeah, and I like how you quieted out the noise. You put your phone on Do Not Disturb. You wasn't posting on Facebook because those are words that you can use for your book. I love that. I think these are some helpful tips that I hope everybody is definitely learning from, will apply. I want to talk about, let's start like practical steps. So we have some power players that for sure they want to write their ebook. Are you saying that they should get to writing first on their own, opposed to hiring someone? I know that there's ghostwriters out there or other companies. Now there are a lot of companies now that would take your money if they help you create a book. So what's your best advice? Would you say before doing all of that, should they just start this on their own first?
Yeah, I think writing your first book and challenging yourself and not worrying about the word count. Like, it's always quality over quantity. You know, I've read books that are 300 pages and I've only read three powerful chapters. And I'm like, they could have stopped right there. You know, so I think sometimes people focus on, you know, a certain word count and just, you know, filling a book with content and not really focusing on the quality of the content, you know. So I think that's important. And if you write your first book, it's like it's you, it's your words, it's your personality, it's you in the book. And then, you know, later on you want to, you know, then it's so many things out there. People will transcribe your voice and turn it into a manuscript, and, you know, have ghostwriters that will write a book for you. But a lot of times it doesn't sound like you, it's not you, you know. But I really would encourage people, like, write your first book. And even if it's not, you know, and that's why even with ebooks, you can write an ebook, because ebook is simply, you know, you being the answer to somebody's question.
Love reading, but wish you had more time to get into your favorite books? What if you could use the time you already have and listen to the books you already love? Well, now you can with Audible. With Audible books, you can be inspired, entertained, and educated anywhere, anytime. Choose from the bestsellers in self-development, business, nonfiction, and more. So what are you waiting for? Your first 30 days are free. Visit hisandhermoney.com/audible to get started today. That's hisandhermoney.com/audible.
All right. Well, we got to pick it up right there. You just made a powerful statement. An ebook is you being the answer to somebody's question. So unpack that for us. How do we find out what question we're the answer to? And then once we figure that out, what's next for us?
Yeah, so I'll use an example. I wrote an ebook called Grace to Fast. That's one of I love that.
You got that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well done.
It wasn't really even supposed to be like, I don't know. Somebody kept asking me about fasting, and I'm like, well, you know, there's an area that I really struggled in that one season. So, hey, let's ask God to grace us to fast, and let's do this. And so, you know, and I wrote it out in a way. And you write this, and writing is so amazing. Well, this is just my opinion. I write how I talk, you know, and you know, so you just give the information. Like if somebody asks a question, that ebook can flow in a way that you're just answering. You're giving them content and information that is helpful. How is this ebook going to help somebody? How is it going to transform their life? How is it going to inspire them, encourage them, or, you know, how's it going to educate them in some sense? So an ebook is simple. It's not a full book. It's you just taking maybe a few questions and turning it into answers for somebody. Even my other one about right now is simply people ask me all these questions. How do I complete my book in 10 days? How do I write a book? How do I know when I'm done? So because I had all of these questions and I was like answering them all the time via social media, I said, wait a minute, let me just answer these questions by putting together an ebook. And the way I formatted that ebook was simply, I'm answering the questions that will provide the answers to what somebody needs. And it can help them navigate and help them, you know, finish their book. So ebooks are simply someone asking you a few questions and you taking these questions, and because you have wisdom and experience in this particular area, you're now providing them the answer, and you're structuring it in a format that allows them to flow and, you know, follow, like a follow along. So every time you writing these ebooks, think of the questions and you're being the one that's providing the answer.
That's good. Oh my gosh, we are getting a lot of questions from our power players over at Power Couples University. Before we start asking Sophia some of those questions, Sophia, I think we kind of forgot this part, and I think that this part is actually very, very important. We talked about the money that can be made writing ebooks. I know that some people just want to write ebooks just to kind of, you know, be a resource out there, but there can be some real money.
Can you make some bread?
Can you make some money writing your own ebook?
Now I've gotten into ebooks. I just written one yesterday, and I wrote it in 2 days because the financial increase that I've seen from ebooks are amazing. Like just in 2019 alone, my ebooks hit 6 figures of just doing ebooks. Just ebooks was 6 figures, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Because when I write my other books that are physical books for people to buy, I have to buy those books, and it's constant. You have to buy them and then ship them, and that process. And so with the ebooks, you pay one time. You pay for a graphic. You pay somebody to edit it and protect it, and you upload it and create, a way for it to be uploaded and downloaded or whatever. And you're constantly making money nonstop as people buy those ebooks. You don't have to do anything else. Once you write the ebook, there you have it. It's a constant flow of stream that just come, and it's like, oh my God. And so if you're providing, though, the thing is, if you're providing content that's going to inspire, educate, encourage, uplift, or be an answer to somebody's question, you are going to see people that's going to purchase that ebook by the bundles.
So 2019.
Yeah, she just got everybody's attention.
You made over 6 figures.
ebooks alone. No, just the ebook.
Just ebooks alone, because Sophia Ruffin, it's an entire ministry.
Yeah.
And so ebooks is just a part of your ministry. You have a powerful ministry. If you guys don't know her personal testimony, I advise you all to go
get to know her.
Just get to know her. That may need to be another episode. But you made 6 figures.
So we're gonna have the comeback kid come back.
Yeah, we gotta have the comeback kid come back. We got to. 6 figures in ebooks alone. People are probably like, well, you must be charging $50 an ebook. How much is your average price that you recommend or that you yourself charge for these ebooks?
These ebooks are $10. I think $10 is the least, and the most is $12. And I have 5 ebooks. And so, I do push them. I encourage people, hey, you need this ebook, the promoting that go with it. But 6 figures. And when I seen that in 2019, I set goals for myself as far as what I want to do 2020, how many ebooks I want to sell, how many ebooks I want to release each quarter. Because as you can see, ebooks is powerful because they want to read books and they want to be able to get them right away. They want to grab them. They're not long, and if you read, I read, give me a chapter, give me a couple chapters here and there, and I'm done. People don't want to just keep collecting books. They want the information hands-on in their phone, and they're able to actually apply the very thing you just taught them. And so that's how I try to, write my ebooks in that sense, so that people could, really trust that when I release one, and then they keep coming back and they keep buying them.
So everybody wants to know, are you still at that job you hate? And did you move out of poverty into wealth?
Man, no, I'm not on that job. And I always say I wrote my way out of poverty. And I'm so glad, because although I minister and I travel, I just thank God for the wisdom he gave me, even when I didn't know to have this wisdom, because I was in extreme poverty. And I used to say, well, even though doors was opening for me to preach and travel, I would say, I don't want to depend on an honorarium. I don't want to depend on the people, because what happens if there's no longer a demand for my voice and for my assignment? What would I do? And I want to keep living the way I'm living. And so I said, I have to write my way out of poverty, and writing is going to be my key. And when I saw that I was capable of doing that, that has inspired me. And just like I said, with the ebooks, I'm just like, wow. It's insane. And anybody can do it. I'm the girl from the hood. Anybody can do it.
That's incredible.
Do you use book writing templates?
That's
no.
Somebody asked. Yep.
No, I don't. And that's why I try to make it very easy for the average person. I tell them, if you have Microsoft Word or on your MacBook and you have Word, just write. You write. It's no template. When I'm done writing, I have a person. As far as my ebooks, I send it to her to edit the ebook, make sure everything's done grammatically, to protect it, to do the copyright protection, and to format it in the ebook format. I grab a graphic. The graphic may cost me $100 or $125. I send that graphic to the person who edit and format the ebook. Send it to her. She formats it. Send it to the website designer. The website designer upload it on the website, and boom, you download it. You have an ebook. So it's and you may spend $250 because people, find someone who know how to edit the ebook, clean it up for you and format it and copyright and protect it. You spend $250. And that's all you paying for that book. Less than $500 if you want to make it, really, super fancy or whatever. But you can complete an ebook in under $500.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah, somebody asked, the software that you use, is it Microsoft Word? So she just said that you all can use Microsoft Word. You can use your notes app.
Google Docs.
Yeah, Google Docs, and just get to writing. Another question is, how many hours a day do you try to write? Do you write every day? Or in the times when you are writing, how many hours a day?
When you're in book mode.
Yeah.
When I'm in book mode, so I am a published author. So it's different when I have a book project needs to be due. So if it's a book project need to be due, it's 65,000 words. Then I know that I have to spend at minimum 3 or 4 hours a day if I want to get it done. So I'm the type of personality, let's get this done. I'm overwhelmed and stressed until it's done. So if I know I want to get it done in 10 days or in that 30-day frame, I'm going to spend about 3 or 4 hours a day, and I'm going to write. And so when I do my writing, I shut away. I shut everything down because I'm in book mode. Now, when I'm doing an ebook, I can do that in a day or two, and that's simply 5,000 words or 3,500 words, 5,000 words. That's a good quality ebook. You do that in a day. I did that in a flight. I was on a flight. I couldn't sleep. I wrote an ebook. So you just write it. Whatever's in you, you just get it out and get it done.
That is so good.
That is dope.
I have a question.
She wrote an ebook on a flight.
On an airplane.
On
we
a plane.
sat there watching movies on the airplane.
We need to get to writing. I'm watching the game.
We just got back from out of town and we was watching a movie or sleeping. It's like, no, we need to get to writing. So let's start claiming our time. I love that. I have a question. So you mentioned once you get this book back, you put it on your website. I know that there are other platforms that you can also utilize and you can put your ebook on. Is the avenue that you choose only your website? Or are there other websites? Like is your book on Amazon, your ebook on Amazon, or is it just strictly on your own personal website? And if so, why?
Well, I did it strictly on my website because I want all the money. Period. Point.
Say that.
Huh? What you saying?
I want all my money. I don't want to give Amazon no more of my money. Okay. I don't want them giving me a royalty check. No, I'm the royalty check. Give it to me. So I do it on my website. I do recommend you have some type of website or, some type of system where people can trust that you are legit, because, if you just kind of saying, hey, I got this ebook, pay me through PayPal or Cash App, I'm not buying the ebook, because to me, I feel like you should kind of invest in yourself and make sure you have a good layout so people can trust the quality of your content and the process of the checking out, when it comes to the financial piece. So I do recommend you get some type of system in place.
Yeah. Oh, I can't stress that enough. On our website, we used to sell our book through Amazon, and we would have the Amazon link. And then one day I was just like, why are we sending folks to Amazon? We only getting I don't know what it was, maybe 30% of the book, not a lot of the book. It's like, why don't we put it on our website? People don't even have to know it's on Amazon unless they go to Amazon. They can check if they want. But we get sales almost every day, just simply coming into our inbox simply because we put it on our website. So you want to make sure you all run with that tip. Sophia is spot on with that.
We didn't write that book on a plane though. I mean, I'm still stuck right
we about to write a book. We about to write some
Next
eBooks.
plane. I'm about to buy a plane ticket right now.
You take 1 or 2 days, I take 1 or 2 days. You write a book, I'll write one. So yeah, I can definitely vouch for that. Keep all the money for yourself.
Another question we got was, do you recommend a quick series like 2 to 3 parts, or should we just knock
any of
them
your
out?
book series books, or are they all just one book?
All one topic inside one book.
Yeah, they are one topic. It's like, for example, with my book, when I share my story, it's called Point Guard the Prophet, and that's more so of my testimony. But I couldn't get it. My whole life is too big. Our life is too big, and the traumas of our life and things we endure is so big, we can't get it all in one book. So what I did was, I like to leave it where people want to read something else, like let's continue the story or whatever. So then I wrote the book Feminine Progression, because that was more focused on my process, my journey, my deliverance. And then after that, Set Free and Delivered, how to stay free. So, you can.
I read that one. That was dope too.
Yeah, so it's like
Thank you.
on top of the other. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted to make it where, you're not trying to load it all in one book. It's just overwhelming trying to put it all in one book. Just take your time and pace yourself. And really, if I can say this, you just trust God in your writing. Like, he'll make you a pen of a ready writer. And if you use wisdom when you're writing, God will help you. And that's been the biggest key to help me with my writing.
That's good. So you're saying now, for those who may want to write their ebook, they're writing it on Word, they're just getting words out. We need to find an editor and a graphic designer, possibly.
And a person that can protect it, you said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Usually the person who edit the book and put in the ebook format, they know how to protect it and make sure the copyright, stuff is done right. And get a good, clean graphic, and you'll be good to go.
You're good to go.
Do you have recommendations for sources to find these
editors,
editors, graphic designers?
I sure do. Are they taking notes?
Yeah, they are. That was a question one of our Power Players asked. Y'all, if y'all not over at Power Couples University, y'all are missing out. Come to powercouplesuniversity.com. You get to get your questions answered. And so, yeah, that was a question.
For example, they're getting this information in real time.
Right now, y'all not getting this
in 2020.
Yeah.
And everybody else listening to this at the top of 2021.
That's
we
right.
love you, but you need to be in powercouplesuniversity.com.
So they are taking notes. Go ahead and drop it on them.
So for ebooks, I recommend, and I'm giving them to you in the order of recommendation of who I use. In Due Season Publishing.
She's giving her own personal.
INDUESEASON Publishing at gmail.com. Very reasonable, excellent. In Due Season Publishing at gmail.com. And this is for the ebooks and things like that. Another one, I'll give you guys the other people. It's 2 more, but I can't think of their information offhand.
But we'll be sure to put it in the show notes of this episode if you're listening to the podcast.
Can they take an influx of people? I'm assuming you probably mentioned their name on your platform too before, and they good.
Yeah, they good.
Okay.
That's why these are the people I'm telling you I use consistently.
Great.
Look under the video if you're watching this on YouTube, and it'll be listed there.
And our Power Players, as soon as Sophia sends it to us, you all won't have to wait for the episode to drop. We'll go ahead and put it inside of the group, and you'll be able to be on your way and get that. Man, so good. I got a whole bunch of questions floating around in my mind, and it's like, how do I get it out?
See, we told you I was bringing nothing but the best, bringing that heat to the show.
Good.
Sophia knows what she's talking about, writing books on planes and whatnot.
And I personally didn't even know that your ebook should be formatted in a sense to where you have to make sure that you have somebody to copyright it properly.
Yeah.
Talk about the importance of that. So many people write their books and they just probably throw it out there without the copyright part.
Right. And then your words are not protected. And then what I found that, I haven't done it, but this is something I'll throw out because somebody may do it before I do it, and go ahead. Those ebooks can later on turn into an actual book. So if you take your ebooks and you've been writing a couple series on a specific topic that you feel is just a very powerful topic you've been writing about, and say you've done 4 ebooks and you've done them at 5,000 words, 4,500 words, about 4 of those, you take those ebooks together and add maybe a couple more chapters in that book, you now have a book that could be published and you have a book. So for people that's saying, well, I just can't get my book done, and they think 65,000 words or 50,000 words is too much and too overwhelming, then you set a goal that you're going to write your book, ebook your way up.
Yeah, that's good. So when you
should be dropping bars.
How do you properly market your book? Like, what are some avenues that you use to properly market and get the word out in regards to your book? And when people come to your website, does it actually say ebook? So do they know that they're buying an ebook?
Now that I need to double check, but I believe so.
I'm like, or can we just say book? Like, get my book. Like, do we have to tell them it's an ebook?
Well, I think if you tell them it's an ebook, it's good. So I do try to communicate that, like, hey guys, this ebook just dropped, so that they know that they can grab it right away and it's like instant without waiting on it. I use my social media platforms to, let my audience know that a book dropped. A lot of times you have to be creative with the way you let your audience know, so they don't feel like, oh, you just selling something else. So if I'm talking about something, a specific topic, and I'm doing a video on it, or I'm just talking about a specific topic, at the end, I'll just mention, hey, if you want more of this information, this content, you need to get my ebook today. It's available right now. So you just be creative with the way you market and do it. You got to be your own, like, for real, what I found is you have to be your biggest fan, and you have to really push and let people know everybody's not going to speak for you and recommend your stuff. You have to be that too. So that has really helped me a lot. And when it comes to marketing, people love my language. I'm not salesy with it. I'm just really honest. You need to get it, and this is why.
Yeah, I will say you do a very good job at that. If you all aren't following Sophia, make sure you all follow her on social media. I love her on Instagram. She's hilarious to me. I love watching her Facebook lives as well too. She got some serious stuff in there, but she also has some humor, and I love that. So much so that when you dropped your ebook on fasting, it came off like it was just so good. Like we going on a fast.
Because she lived it. She did it.
And it was just like, we going on a fast. And the first thing that came out of our mouths was, we get Sophia's book. Yeah. Like, we fast, like we grew up in the church, we do all that stuff. But the way you communicated about it, it was just like, we got to see what's in here. And you did a phenomenal job. I will say, you don't just throw out fluff. Like, you can tell that it's a passion and that you want to make sure that you give quality and excellent work.
Thank you so much. That means a lot, for real.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you said that the key to it's not just enough to write the book, but you got to market the book. I don't want people to lose sight of that. It's not like Sophia was on the plane, wrote the book, and boom, 6 figures. No, you got to first have quality content in your book. You have to be meeting a need. That's why I go back to earlier. She said you need to be the answer to somebody's question. So, I mean, you might be writing something that's nice, that's thoughtful for you, but is it what the market is calling for? So she talked about the research you need to do up front to make sure that you're answering people's questions, and then you got to market. I'm just going to say, this information that she's giving, like, people pay for this type of stuff. So y'all, please utilize this stuff. This is so good. Sophia, I want you to talk about what having an ebook or ebooks, what has it done for you? So right now, when we're recording this, very strong pandemic going on. And I know you go to a lot of churches and you speak, and you just preach the word of God. And so during this time when everything was shut down, I'm sure a lot of that came to a halt for you, where you weren't getting the calls to come to churches and conferences to come speak. Was ebooks definitely a viable way where you were still able to sustain and make sure the light stayed on, in a sense, and that your business didn't go under?
Absolutely. Like, from 2019, when I said the ebooks did the 6 figures, it was preparing me. Like, and I'm so grateful because I was so blessed. And then when 2020 happened, I was like, oh my God, like, okay, what do you do? What's going on? Do you create in this? Do you just pray through this? I was really torn with what to do and how to move forward. And, that is how I end up coming up with Creatives Create Now, or Creating Without Anxiety, and start talking about you have to create with God. And I wrote an ebook on creativity. And those ebooks of writing during this pandemic, it was like, this is something you can do. You can encourage people. So I took advantage. And then even in the first quarter, going into the second quarter of 2020, that Creatives Create Now ebook, it did. I'll just be on here and just share with, because this is your group, but just that ebook alone for Creatives Create Now,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, we'll edit it for the
tell
real world,
them,
but you can tell our power
we
players.
won't tell the world.
Yeah, that ebook, because it was a demand. Everybody wanted to know, how do I create? What do I do? And they felt like I felt. And so not even talking about the webinar or the other things, but just the ebook. That ebook was $18,000 in the first quarter of people, because it was a demand. People felt like I felt. They wanted to know, what do I do? How do I get out of this situation? And I was like, oh my God, like, this is insane. Like, and I just wrote like creating with God, creating with anxiety. And I had the word that people needed for the season we were in. And that ebook was, I believe, $12, $10 or $12. And people were wanting to know, what do I do? So instead of me feeling bad or feeling like, oh, I'm not preaching and I don't have an honorarium, I don't know where to go, that was a demand. And the demand was, everybody was feeling what I felt. Do we create? And how do we move forward? Creatives Create Now. And I did, and I wrote that ebook because I was like, okay, I'll do a webinar. Then I'll do this. And it's like, hey, if I'm going to do this and do this, and I'm already going to do a webinar, and in the webinar, I got to do PowerPoint. In the PowerPoint, I got to give information. Hey, let's turn this webinar into an ebook. I'm not going to waste those words because I got to create a PowerPoint, which was my content. So if I'm going to give them content anyway, and then I'm going to walk away with the PowerPoint, walk away with the ebook.
That's so good.
A wise thing to do is find the demand. What is the demand? What is it that people need? And if you have that answer, they gon' buy it.
That is so true. My gosh, that's so good.
Man.
Y'all, she just gave some information.
Now,
we don't tell the world. She gave it to y'all, but that was, my gosh, $18,000. That did not include her webinars or anything. That was just simply in the first quarter of the pandemic, and you created something because there was a demand, and you only sold it for $12. Like, that's somebody's whole year salary.
Turn 12 into,
my gosh,
$18K.
This is a great question from one of our power players. Do you suggest that the people that are buying your ebook, do they have to have a certain app, or when they download it from your website, is it just in PDF form?
It's in PDF form.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Another question is, would you couple the ebook with an audio book where the consumer can read along while you are talking? So have you ever did any audiobooks as well?
Honey, you just gave me an idea and a confirmation, because I've been told, can I talk these books and people will buy it? And so thank you. It'll be done.
Wow. So we helped her. I love that. Oh my gosh. That's a very good suggestion.
Yes.
I love that.
So,
that's so
here's
good.
You have a book about writing ebooks, and you also have a bundle for creatives. So tell everybody about both of these products and how to get them.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, listen, you go to SophiaRuffin.com. I do recommend, I have a book called Right Now, which gives information on how to complete your book in record-breaking time. It gives you all the specific strategies you need to complete it. Then I wrote another one during quarantine, which was a little bit more specific to, extra information. It's called Quarantine and Write. And what quarantine simply means is to take time and isolate yourself. So that's one I recommend. And so even the creative bundle called Creative Create Now, that's sharing with you how to create content, how to be yourself, how to be authentically you, how to really find your niche and how to run with it. And so in the bundle, I give behind the scenes of, because sometimes you guys, people see people like, oh my God, they so successful. Oh my God, they just make it look so easy. No, you see me actually pulling in lights here and there and trying to find space and, you know, the behind the scenes. So I provide that. So a real person that's really trying to launch their brand, their business, or, you know, finish something, that bundle is loaded with how to create with God, and how to actually finish what you start. So I do recommend those products.
Y'all make sure y'all check her out. My last question is, talk about the importance of having the Holy Spirit guide you and direct you, because I know that all these books that you mentioned, even the name, when I heard, I'm like, oh, that's oily. That right there, that was definitely a God idea. Talk about how having the Lord guide you through this process has actually worked in your favor.
Listen, God will make you a pen of a ready writer. Holy Spirit, and that's why I said when you write and you create with God, you can do the impossible, and then He'll be the resource. And so it's simply just, it's not even being all deep. It's just asking Holy Spirit, what do you think of this idea? You know, asking for help, because He is our helper. So He'll help you. He'll help you navigate through. He'll help you finish strong. He'll help you start the project and complete the project. So it's very important to really have input from Holy Spirit, because He'll give you the wisdom that you need. And honestly, in this season, especially this season, it is very clear that we can't do nothing without the leading and guiding of Holy Spirit. And that's why I created Creatives Create Now, and to learn how to create with God. So that's important.
Man, this was good, Sophia.
Was so good.
I mean, you came through and you blessed us today, and we
appreciate
it, man.
We love you so much.
We hope everybody's going to head to SophiaRuffin.com. All you aspiring writers and creatives, the excuses are now gone.
And I think every person that has some type of influence, whether it be online influence, brick and mortar, whatnot, you should have ebooks.
Yeah.
I think it's another way to also validate your message and to bring your message more to the masses.
We appreciate you coming through. Tell everybody what's your handles on social so they can keep following you and stay in tune with what you're doing.
I'm Sophia Ruffin on everything, but your girl Soph on IG. IG is my favorite. If you really want to know my real life, follow me on IG and your girl Soph, because I stay putting my real life in my stories. So you can follow me on Sophia Ruffin on everything else, or if you need products, anything, it's SophiaRuffin.com. And you guys, y'all are so amazing. Thank you. It was such an honor, and I mean that.
We appreciate it, man. This was this is way overdue. We definitely bringing you back, because we're gonna get y'all don't know Sophia yet. Yeah. Y'all know about a little bit of wisdom on her creativity, but we gotta bring her back so she can tell the story.
Let me just say this: you did well, because our power players in there saying, "I will have an ebook by next week."
Listen,
okay, come on, love it, and they thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Sophia.
Thank you.